You pass 6 years of your life dreaming and don't know it. Did you know you're going to spend 6 years of your life dreaming? 6 entire years. That's more time than you spent in school, more time than many people spend in college. And the craziest part, you probably don't even remember what you dreamed about last night. But what if I told you that science has finally discovered not only why we dream, but also how to control your dreams? In this video, you're going to discover why everyone in the entire world dreams the same things, what those crazy dreams where nothing makes sense actually mean, and most importantly, how you can use your dreams to solve real-life problems. Yes, solve actual problems while you sleep. Scientists have already proven that you can plant ideas in your own dreams, just like in the movie Inception. So if you've ever woken up remembering nothing and thought, I wasted the whole night, or if you have those nightmares that leave you anxious, or you simply want to make better use of these 6 years of your life that you're going to spend dreaming anyway, stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you techniques that writers, musicians, and even scientists have used to have genius ideas while sleeping. Let's go. Fact 1. You don't dream all night long. Here's the first mind-blowing revelation. You don't actually dream the entire night. I know it feels like you've been on some epic adventure for hours, but scientists have calculated that the average person only dreams for about 2 hours during sleep. And it's not even continuous. It happens in separate sessions that last between 5 and 20 minutes each. Now, 2 hours might not sound like much when you think about a single night. But here's where it gets crazy. If you add up all those dream sessions over your entire lifetime, assuming you live an average lifespan, you'll have spent approximately 6 years dreaming. 6 years. That's significantly more time than most people spend in formal education if you actually count the hours in class. Think about that for a second. 6 years of your conscious experience happening in this alternative reality inside your head. 6 years of stories, emotions, fears, and adventures that your brain creates entirely on its own. And yet most of us can barely remember what we dreamed about last week, let alone harness that time for anything productive. This discovery alone changed how scientists view sleep. For the longest time, people thought sleep was just this passive state where your body and brain shut down to recharge. But now we know that during those 2 hours of dreaming each night, your brain is incredibly active, sometimes even more active than when you're awake. It's processing, organizing, creating, and problem-solving in ways we're only beginning to understand. The ancient civilizations knew dreams were important, but they didn't have the technology to measure brain activity or track sleep cycles. Now we do. And what we've discovered is that those 6 years of dreaming might be some of the most important cognitive work your brain does in your entire life. Fact 2. Dreams have been sacred across every culture in history. Before we dive into the modern science, you need to understand something crucial. Humanity has been obsessed with dreams for literally thousands of years. And I'm not talking about just casual interest. I'm talking about building temples, creating rituals, and making massive life decisions based on what happened in dreams. Let's start over 4,000 years ago in ancient Sumer. Historical records show that a king named Gudea received a message in his dream that led him to completely tear down and rebuild an entire temple. Imagine that. Demolishing a massive religious structure and constructing a new one, mobilizing thousands of workers and resources, all because of a dream. That's how seriously ancient people took this stuff. The ancient Egyptians took it even further. They believed dreams were the best and most direct way to communicate with their gods. Egyptian priests had special sanctuaries with beds specifically designed for dream rituals. They would go to sleep with a specific problem or question in mind, deliberately trying to receive divine guidance through their dreams. Think about that. They were literally practicing dream incubation techniques over 3,000 years ago, techniques that modern scientists are only now validating. In Greek mythology, we have Morpheus, the god of dreams, The Greeks believed that gods would visit people in their dreams to deliver messages, warnings, and prophecies. They built temples dedicated to dream healing, where sick people would sleep, hoping to receive divine cures. These weren't just random superstitions. These were organized, systematic approaches to using dreams for practical purposes. What's fascinating is that when you look at all the major world religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, they all have extensive teachings about dreams. The Bible is packed with stories of prophets receiving divine revelations through dreams. In Islam, dreams are considered the only way to receive divine messages after Prophet Muhammad. Hindu texts written over 2,300 years ago already categorized dreams into different types based on their source and meaning. Here's what blows my mind. These ancient cultures, separated by thousands of miles and hundreds of years, with no way to communicate with each other, all independently came to remarkably similar conclusions about dreams. They all recognized that dreams came in different types, some mundane, some profound. They all believed you could deliberately influence your dreams. They all thought dreams could help solve real-world problems. And here's the kicker. Modern science is proving they were right about almost all of it. Fact 3. Everyone dreams the same things, no matter where they live. This is where things get really weird. In the 1940s, an American psychologist named Calvin Springer Hall decided to do something unprecedented. He was going to collect and analyze thousands of dream reports to find patterns. Not just dozens or hundreds. We're talking about 50,000 dream reports collected over 4 decades of research. What Hall discovered absolutely shocked the scientific community. Despite all our cultural differences, despite living in completely different environments, despite speaking different languages and having different beliefs, humans all over the world dream about fundamentally the same things. It doesn't matter if you're in Brazil, Russia, Japan, Italy, Canada, or Nigeria. The themes, emotions, and scenarios that show up in dreams are remarkably consistent across all cultures and regions. Right now, at this very moment, there's probably someone in Tokyo having the exact same type of anxiety dream about being unprepared for a test that you had last week. Hall's research revealed that the most common emotion in dreams across all cultures is anxiety. Not happiness, not excitement, anxiety. Other emotions that frequently appear in dreams worldwide include abandonment, anger, fear, joy, and happiness. But here's the depressing part. Negative emotions in dreams are significantly more common than positive ones, regardless of where you live or what your daily life is like. The study also uncovered some other universal patterns. Those romantic or sexual dreams. They occur in less than 8% of all dreams, and they're most common during adolescence. This is consistent across cultures. Teenagers everywhere are dealing with the same hormonal surge affecting their dreams. And contrary to what many people assume, these types of dreams happen equally for both men and women. Everyone's brain works basically the same way when it comes to this stuff. Think about what this means for a second. Your brain, my brain, and the brain of someone living on the opposite side of the planet with a completely different life experience. We're all running essentially the same dream software. We all have anxiety dreams. We all dream about being chased, falling, losing teeth, showing up naked in public, or being unprepared for important events. This suggests that dreaming isn't just some random cultural phenomenon or learned behavior. It's something deeply embedded in human neurology. It's a fundamental feature of how human consciousness works. And that means understanding dreams isn't just interesting. It's understanding something essential about what it means to be human. Fact 4. Real-world events directly affect what you dream about now. Here's where modern science gets really interesting. Dr. Deirdre Barrett, a psychologist at Harvard, recently analyzed over 15,000 dream reports. She was initially studying something else entirely, but then she noticed something extraordinary happening during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Barrett discovered that the pandemic quadrupled the frequency of dreams related to fear, disease, and death. 4 times more. This wasn't a small statistical blip. This was a massive, measurable change in what millions of people were dreaming about simultaneously. The collective human experience of anxiety and uncertainty about the pandemic was directly manifesting in our dreams. But it goes beyond just major world events. Scientists have proven that all kinds of real-world stimuli can influence your dream content. In one fascinating 2009 study, researchers had people sleep next to different scents. Participants exposed to pleasant smells like roses had significantly more positive dreams than those with no olfactory stimulation. On the flip side, people exposed to unpleasant odors like rotten eggs had a much higher incidence of negative dreams. This has huge practical implications. It means your sleep environment matters way more than you think. That pile of dirty laundry in your room, it might literally be giving you bad dreams. The air freshener or essential oils you use, they could be influencing whether you have pleasant or unpleasant dreams. Your brain doesn't completely shut off from the outside world when you sleep. It's constantly monitoring and incorporating external information into your dreams. Temperature affects dreams too. Sound definitely affects dreams. You've probably experienced this yourself when an alarm clock or phone notification got incorporated into your dream before you woke up. Even what you eat before bed can influence dream content, though the mechanisms aren't fully understood yet. But here's the most exciting part. If external stimuli can influence dreams, that means dreams are hackable. They're not just these mysterious, uncontrollable experiences that happen to you. They're dynamic processes that respond to input. And if they respond to input, that means with the right techniques and knowledge, you can deliberately shape what you dream about. The ancient Egyptians and Greeks figured this out thousands of years ago through trial and error. Now we have the scientific evidence to explain exactly why their techniques worked. And we're developing new, more sophisticated methods based on modern neuroscience. Fact 5. There are 2 completely different types of dreams. All right, this is where the science gets complicated, but super important. For a long time, scientists believed that all dreaming happened during a specific phase of sleep called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. It's exactly what it sounds like. During this phase, your eyes move rapidly under your closed eyelids, darting back and forth like you're watching a tennis match. Initially, researchers thought this eye movement was because you were literally looking around at whatever was happening in your dream. And they believed that only during REM sleep did dreams occur. But then they discovered something that completely changed our understanding. You can dream during non-REM sleep too. And even more confusing, sometimes REM sleep happens without any dreams at all. This totally scrambled the scientific understanding of dreams. But as researchers dug deeper, they realized something fascinating. These 2 types of dreams are actually different from each other, both qualitatively and quantitatively. Dreams that happen during REM sleep tend to be longer, more frequent, and way more bizarre. These are your really weird dreams, where your grandmother shows up dressed as a firefighter fighting an alligator, and then suddenly you're in a Mario Kart race. Nothing makes logical sense. The narrative is chaotic, and when you wake up, you think, what the hell was that? These are REM dreams. During REM sleep, your brain releases special neurotransmitters that basically paralyze your muscles. This is actually a safety mechanism to prevent you from physically acting out your dreams and hurting yourself. Your brain shuts down motor control to everything except your eyes, hence the rapid eye movement, and your diaphragm, because you still need to breathe, obviously. This is why you don't actually run, punch, or kick when you dream about doing those things. On the other hand, dreams that occur outside of REM sleep, usually closer to when you're about to wake up, are typically less frequent, shorter, and much more mundane. These dreams are usually grounded in everyday reality. You're doing normal activities, having normal conversations, dealing with ordinary situations. They're basically less exciting, more realistic versions of your actual life. Even the brainwaves during these two types of dreams are completely different. Scientists can literally see on an EEG machine that your brain is functioning differently during REM versus non-REM dreams. This strongly suggests that these aren't just variations of the same phenomenon, they're actually two distinct processes with two different purposes, generated by two different mechanisms in your brain. This lines up perfectly with what many ancient religions taught thousands of years ago. Remember how the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Hindu texts all talked about different categories of dreams? They distinguished between higher or authentic dreams and mundane or illusory dreams. They didn't have EEG machines or brain scanners, but through pure observation and experience, they figured out that not all dreams are created equal. Fact 6. Your brain creates dreams as a side effect of memory maintenance. So why do we have these two different types of dreams? What's actually happening in your brain? This is where we get into the cutting-edge neuroscience that's still being figured out. But here's what scientists currently believe based on the evidence. The mundane, realistic dreams, what researchers call authentic dreams, appear to be side effects of your brain's memory consolidation process. Throughout your day, you're constantly experiencing things, learning things, having conversations, making observations. All of this creates temporary memories that need to be properly filed away for long-term storage. Think of your brain like a massive library. During the day, books are constantly being delivered, new information, new experiences, new data, but they're just piling up in the front entrance. At night, your brain needs to actually shelve all those books in the right sections, create catalog entries, cross-reference them with existing books, and throw out the junk mail that got mixed in. Authentic dreams seem to be what you experience while this filing process is happening. Your brain is going through recent memories and experiences, strengthening the neural connections that matter, and that processing occasionally bubbles up into your conscious awareness as dreams. That's why these dreams often feature people you saw recently, places you went, problems you're currently dealing with, or conversations you just had. But then there are those completely bizarre, nonsensical dreams, the illusory dreams. What's happening there? Scientists believe these are side effects of a different maintenance process. Your brain isn't just storing new memories, it's also constantly reinforcing and maintaining older neural pathways, cleaning up connections that have degraded over time, and basically doing routine maintenance on your entire mental library. During this deep maintenance work, you get what scientists call impurities of information, basically fragments of old memories, disconnected neural signals, random bits of data that get briefly activated as your brain works on them. When these fragments float up into your conscious awareness, you get those completely random dreams where you're simultaneously at your childhood home and your current workplace, talking to your third-grade teacher who looks like your boss while riding a purple elephant. It's not that these dreams have some deep symbolic meaning. Sorry, Freud. They're more like watching someone defragment a hard drive. You're seeing bits and pieces of data being moved around and reorganized, and it doesn't make logical sense because you're only catching glimpses of a much larger process happening beneath your awareness. Both types of dreams tend to prioritize emotionally significant experiences and unresolved issues. This makes perfect evolutionary sense. Your brain needs to really nail down the memories and learning from experiences that had strong emotional impact or that represent problems you still need to solve. Emotions are your brain's way of tagging something as important. Don't forget this. This explains why dreams are simultaneously so vivid and memorable while you're having them, yet so easily forgotten after you wake up. If dreams are byproducts of memory optimization processes, it wouldn't make sense for the dreams themselves to create strong, lasting memories. That would be like a cleaning process that creates more mess than it cleans up. Your brain needs to optimize memory without generating lots of new memories about the optimization process itself. Fact 7. Ancient peoples discovered dream incubation, and it actually works. Remember how I said the ancient Egyptians and Greeks would deliberately sleep with a problem or question in mind, trying to receive answers through dreams? That's called dream incubation, and here's the crazy part. Modern science has proven that it legitimately works. Dr. Deirdre Barrett, the same researcher who studied pandemic dreams, developed a modern protocol for dream incubation with her students at Harvard. The method is remarkably simple, almost exactly what the ancients were doing thousands of years ago, but now we have scientific data proving its effectiveness. Here's how it works. Before you go to sleep, you focus intensely on a specific problem or question you want to solve. You think about it from multiple angles, visualize it, really immerse yourself in that issue. If you can create a mental image representing the problem, even better. Hold that image in your mind. The key is making that problem the absolute last thing you think about before you fall asleep. In Dr. Barrett's experiments, 2/3 of participants had dreams that directly addressed their chosen problem. Even more impressive, 1/3 actually achieved some kind of solution or new insight into the problem within their dreams. Those are incredible success rates for something so simple. But here's the crucial part that makes or breaks the technique: what you do when you wake up. Dr. Barrett emphasizes that you cannot jump out of bed when you wake up. Stay lying down. Don't move. Don't check your phone. Don't let your mind wander to your to-do list. Just lie there and try to hold on to whatever remnants of dreams you can recall. According to Dr. Barrett's research, almost half of dream content is lost immediately if you distract yourself upon waking. Your dream memories are incredibly fragile. They're designed to be forgotten, remember, so you have to be very deliberate about capturing them before they evaporate. If you don't immediately remember a dream, Dr. Barrett suggests focusing on emotions instead. Do you feel any particular emotion? Happy, anxious, confused, excited? Trace that emotional thread backward. Often the entire dream will come flooding back once you grab hold of that emotional anchor. Now here's where this gets really exciting. This technique has led to some of the most important creative and scientific breakthroughs in human history. Mary Shelley went to sleep struggling with a story idea and woke up with the entire plot of Frankenstein fully formed in her mind. Robert Louis Stevenson reportedly dreamed major plot elements of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Stephen E. Meyer literally dreamed the meadow scene from Twilight that became the foundation for the entire series. In music, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones was obsessed with finding the right guitar riff and woke up with the complete riff for Satisfaction, one of the most iconic rock songs ever written. Paul McCartney dreamed the entire melody for Yesterday after spending an evening thinking about his late mother. But it's not just artistic creativity. The scientific method itself, the fundamental framework that underlies all modern science, came to philosopher René Descartes through 3 sequential dreams while he was intensely focused on questions about knowledge and certainty. The structure of the periodic table appeared to chemist Dmitri Mendeleev in a dream after months of struggling with how to organize the elements. Niels Bohr visualized the structure of the atom in a dream, which he later tested and confirmed through experiments. Think about what this means. Some of humanity's greatest creative works and scientific discoveries came from people who learned to harness those 6 years of dreaming time productively. They weren't just passively experiencing dreams, they were actively using dreams as a problem-solving tool. And now we have scientific proof that you can do exactly the same thing. Fact 8. Scientists built a machine that can influence your dreams. In 2020, a team of researchers at MIT decided to take dream incubation to the next level. They asked, what if instead of relying on people to manually focus on something before sleep, we could use technology to automatically guide people towards specific dream content? Basically, what if we could build an actual inception device? They called their method targeted dream incubation, and the device itself, Dormio. Now, this isn't some invasive brain implant or crazy sci-fi equipment. It's actually quite simple. It's a smartphone app paired with a wearable sleep tracker, similar to a fitness band. Here's how it works. The sleep tracker monitors your sleep stages in real time. When it detects that you're entering that transitional state between waking and sleeping, called hypnagogia, the app plays pre-recorded audio cues. These cues are designed to plant specific concepts or themes in your mind, right as you're drifting off. For example, if they wanted participants to dream about trees, the audio might softly say, "Remember to think about a tree," or play nature sounds right at that crucial moment when your brain is most susceptible to suggestion. The timing is critical. Too early and you're still too alert for it to affect dreams. Too late and you're already deep in sleep. The results were genuinely impressive. The researchers successfully influenced dream content in a significant number of participants. They could make people more likely to dream about specific topics, objects, or themes just by delivering the right audio cues at the right moment in the sleep cycle. What's really interesting is how this connects back to the movie Inception. In the film, Leonardo DiCaprio's character is an expert at extracting information from dreams, and he gets hired to do something supposedly much harder: plant an idea in someone's mind through their dreams. The whole movie is about how difficult and complex that process is. But in reality, scientists have already figured out how to plant ideas through dreams. The MIT team proved it. Dr. Barrett's dream incubation research proved it. It's not as elaborate as the movie makes it seem. You don't need a team of specialists, dream architects, or multiple layers of nested dreams. You just need the right technique and timing. Of course, there's a huge caveat here. This only works if the person is willing. You can't force someone to dream about something if they're actively resistant to the idea. And you definitely can't implant complex beliefs or motivations the way they do in the movie. But for self-improvement, problem-solving, creativity, or learning, the technology already exists and it works. The researchers believe Dormio and similar technologies could eventually help people overcome phobias, practice skills during sleep, enhance creativity, or even continue learning while unconscious. Imagine being able to productively use even a fraction of those 6 years you're going to spend dreaming anyway. That's the potential we're looking at. In fact 9, scientists successfully communicated with people inside their dreams. If planting ideas in dreams sounds like science fiction, wait until you hear about this next study. In 2021, an international team of researchers from the Netherlands, France, Germany, and the United States accomplished something that sounds absolutely impossible. They established two-way communication with people while they were actively dreaming. Let me be crystal clear about what this means. These weren't people who woke up and then reported what they dreamed. These were people who were verifiably asleep, in REM sleep, with full dream brainwave patterns, and they were answering questions and solving problems while the dream was happening. They were communicating from inside the dream world to the real world. The researchers recruited 36 volunteers and trained them to respond to stimuli even while sleeping. The experimenters would send signals using light flashes or audio cues, and the sleeping participants would respond using eye movements. Remember, your eyes aren't paralyzed during REM sleep, or small finger movements. The equipment monitoring the volunteers confirmed they were genuinely asleep. They showed the characteristic brainwave patterns of REM dreaming, not waking consciousness. Yet somehow, some part of their awareness was able to perceive questions from the outside world and formulate responses. The researchers asked yes or no questions and simple math problems. And here's what's remarkable. The volunteers answered correctly 18% of the time. Now you might be thinking only 18%. That's pretty bad. But consider what's happening here. People who are literally unconscious and dreaming are correctly answering questions from reality. The fact that it worked at all is absolutely mind-blowing. In another 17% of cases, the researchers couldn't interpret the responses. The signals were unclear or ambiguous. And yes, in the majority of attempts, the participants simply didn't respond at all. They were too deep in sleep, too immersed in their dream, or the signal didn't reach them. But think about what that 18% success rate represents. It means the boundary between the dream world and the waking world is more permeable than we thought. Your sleeping brain isn't completely isolated from reality. It's monitoring what's happening around you. And with the right training, you can maintain a thread of communication even while fully immersed in a dream. Multiple participants reported afterward that the questions from researchers actually got incorporated into their dreams. One person said they were at a party in their dream when they suddenly heard the question, and in the dream logic, it seemed completely normal that someone would be asking them math problems at a party. Another reported that the light signals appeared as flickering lamps in their dream environment. This research has enormous implications. If we can communicate with dreaming people, we can potentially help them work through nightmares in real time. We could guide lucid dreaming experiences. We might be able to enhance learning and memory consolidation by providing specific cues during sleep. And from a pure science perspective, we can finally study dreams from the inside, asking dreamers questions about what they're experiencing as it happens, rather than relying on imperfect memories after waking. The researchers believe this type of communication technology could eventually help treat various mental health conditions, particularly those involving nightmares, anxiety dreams, or trauma-related sleep disturbances. Imagine being able to wake someone from a nightmare, not by fully waking them, but by communicating into their dream and helping them change it from within. Fact 10. Lucid dreaming is real and you can learn it now. We need to talk about lucid dreaming because this is where everything we've discussed comes together into something you can actually use. A lucid dream is a dream where you're aware that you're dreaming while the dream is happening. And in that state of awareness, you can often exert some degree of control over the dream content. Some people naturally experience lucid dreams occasionally without trying. But lucid dreaming can also be learned and practiced as a skill. There are multiple techniques backed by scientific research, and people who practice regularly can reach a point where they have lucid dreams several times per week. The most common technique is called reality testing. Throughout your day, you regularly ask yourself, "Am I dreaming right now?" and perform simple tests like trying to push your finger through your palm, checking if text remains stable when you look away and back, or seeing if light switches work normally. You do this so often while awake that eventually you'll do it in a dream. And when you do, the test will fail because dream physics don't follow real physics, and suddenly you'll realize you're dreaming. Another popular method is wake back to bed, or WBTB. You set an alarm to wake yourself after about 5 to 6 hours of sleep, usually right after a REM cycle. Stay awake for 15 to 30 minutes while focusing on your intention to have a lucid dream, then go back to sleep. The combination of interrupted sleep and directed intention significantly increases the chances of becoming lucid in your next dream. There's also the mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, or mild technique, developed by researcher Stephen LaBerge. As you're falling asleep, you repeat a phrase like, "The next time I'm dreaming, I will remember that I'm dreaming." You visualize yourself becoming lucid in a dream. This self-suggestion primes your brain to recognize the dream state. Scientific studies have confirmed that lucid dreaming is a real, measurable phenomenon. Researchers can tell when someone becomes lucid in a dream because they can perform prearranged eye movement signals. Remember that your eyes aren't paralyzed during REM sleep. Lucid dreamers can signal, "I'm lucid now," by moving their eyes in a specific pattern, like moving them left, right, left, right. This allows researchers to timestamp the exact moment lucidity begins and study what's happening in the brain at that moment. Brain imaging studies show that during lucid dreaming, areas of the prefrontal cortex, associated with self-awareness and executive function, become more active than in regular dreams. It's like a hybrid state. Your brain has some characteristics of sleeping and some characteristics of waking consciousness simultaneously. What can you actually do in a lucid dream? Pretty much anything you can imagine. People use lucid dreams to practice skills. Athletes visualize perfect performance. Musicians practice instruments. Public speakers rehearse presentations. Since your brain can't fully distinguish between vividly imagined practice and real practice, this actually works to improve real-world performance. Others use lucid dreams for creative problem-solving, taking the dream incubation technique to the next level by remaining consciously aware while the dream unfolds. Some use lucid dreams therapeutically to confront fears in a safe environment where they know nothing can actually hurt them. And yes, plenty of people just use lucid dreams for fun. Flying, exploring impossible landscapes, having adventures that would be impossible in waking life. The key thing to understand is that lucid dreaming isn't some mystical talent that only special people have. It's a learnable skill based on training your brain to maintain a thread of self-awareness during sleep. With practice, most people can learn to lucid dream at least occasionally. Fact 11. Your dreams are trying to keep you sane. Here's something that might change how you think about unpleasant dreams. They might actually be protecting your mental health. This is one of the most fascinating theories in modern dream research, and it builds on everything we've discussed about memory consolidation and emotional processing. Remember how we talked about dreams prioritizing emotionally significant experiences and unresolved issues? There's a reason for that. Your brain needs to process and integrate emotional experiences, especially negative ones, or they can accumulate and cause psychological problems. Think of intense emotions like a psychological injury. If you cut your hand, your body has automatic healing processes, inflammation, scab formation, tissue regeneration. You don't have to consciously direct any of that. Your body handles it automatically. Dreams appear to serve a similar automatic healing function for psychological and emotional injuries. When something stressful, frightening, or traumatic happens to you, your brain needs to process that experience, to integrate it into your existing mental models, to extract lessons learned, to discharge the emotional intensity, and to file the memory away in a way that doesn't keep triggering your stress response. This is why people often dream about stressful events shortly after they occur. You have a big argument with someone, and that night you dream about conflict. You experience something embarrassing, and you have anxiety dreams. You go through something scary, and you have fear dreams. This isn't random. Your brain is actively working through those experiences, trying to resolve the emotional charge. Dr. Rosalind Cartwright, a leading dream researcher, demonstrated that people going through divorce who dreamed more about their ex-spouse and the relationship actually showed better psychological adjustment a year later, compared to those who dreamed less about it. The dreams, even though they were often unpleasant, were part of a healthy processing mechanism. There's also evidence that REM sleep and dreaming help regulate emotional reactivity. Studies have shown that people who get adequate REM sleep are better at recognizing emotions in others and managing their own emotional responses. When REM sleep is disrupted, people show increased emotional volatility and heightened stress responses. Some researchers believe this explains why nightmares and disturbing dreams, while unpleasant, serve an important purpose. They're your brain-running threat simulations, practicing how to respond to danger and processing fears in a safe environment where no real harm can occur. From an evolutionary perspective, this would be incredibly valuable. You get to practice dealing with threats without actual risk. This is also why dream content tends to be more negative than positive. Your brain doesn't need to spend as much time processing pleasant experiences. They don't represent threats or problems that need solving. It's the difficult experiences that require more cognitive resources to integrate properly. When this system doesn't work properly, you can get stuck in loops of traumatic dreams or chronic nightmares, which is one of the hallmark symptoms of PTSD. The emotional processing system is overwhelmed and can't successfully integrate the traumatic experience, so the dream keeps repeating variations of the trauma without resolving it. But when the system works as intended, dreams, even unpleasant ones, are part of your brain's automatic emotional regulation system. They're helping you maintain psychological balance, process difficult experiences, and ultimately stay mentally healthy. Those 6 years you spend dreaming aren't wasted time. They're essential maintenance work for your mental and emotional well-being. Fact 12. You can start using your dreams tonight. All right. We've covered the history, the science, the weird facts, and the implications. Now let's bring this home with practical steps you can take, starting literally tonight, to make better use of those 6 years of your life you're going to spend dreaming. Step 1. Improve your dream recall. Before you can do anything else with your dreams, you need to actually remember them. Keep a dream journal next to your bed. The moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you get up, before you do anything, write down whatever you remember. Even if it's just fragments or feelings, the act of recording trains your brain that dreams are important and worth remembering. Step 2. Optimize your sleep environment. Remember how we discussed that external stimuli affect dreams? Clean your room. Remove unpleasant odors. Consider using subtle, pleasant scents like lavender. Make sure your sleeping space is comfortable, dark, and quiet, or use white noise if you prefer. The better your sleep environment, the better quality dreams you'll have. Step 3. Try dream incubation. Pick a problem or question you're genuinely curious about or struggling with. Spend time before bed thinking about it deeply. If possible, create a visual representation, a symbol, image, or scene that represents the question. Hold that image in your mind as the last thing before you fall asleep. Don't expect instant results. This is a skill that improves with practice. Step 4. Practice reality testing. If you're interested in lucid dreaming, start doing reality checks throughout your day. Every time you walk through a doorway, ask yourself, am I dreaming? And actually try to push your finger through your palm, look at text twice to see if it changes, or check the time on your phone twice in a row. Eventually, you'll do this in a dream and become lucid. Step 5. Use the wake back to bed technique. Once or twice a week, try setting an alarm for 5 to 6 hours after you go to sleep. Wake up, stay awake for 15-30 minutes while thinking about dreams or reading about dreams, then go back to sleep with the intention of becoming lucid or dreaming about a specific topic. This technique has high success rates for both lucid dreaming and dream incubation. Step 6. Don't jump out of bed. This is crucial, and so many people mess this up. When you wake up naturally, not to a blaring alarm, stay still for a minute. Don't move. Don't plan your day. Just lie there and try to hold on to any dream memories. Often they'll come flooding back if you give them a moment before external stimuli washes them away. Step 7. Track your progress. Keep notes not just on dream content, but on what techniques you've tried and how well they worked. Did dream incubation work better when you visualized versus when you just thought about the problem? Do you remember dreams better when you sleep 8 hours versus 7? Do you have more vivid dreams on weekends when you're less stressed? Everyone's brain is slightly different, so tracking helps you figure out what works best for you. Step 8. Be patient and consistent. Here's the truth. Most people won't get dramatic results on their first try. Dream work is a skill. And like any skill, it requires practice. The ancient Egyptian priests didn't just walk into their dream temples once and instantly receive divine wisdom. They practiced these techniques repeatedly over months and years. Modern research shows that people who consistently practice dream incubation and lucid dreaming techniques for several weeks start seeing significantly better results. Step 9. Use dreams for creative problem solving. Once you're reliably remembering dreams and having some success with incubation, start using this for real problems. Got a creative project you're stuck on? Sleep on it, literally. Have a difficult decision to make? Let your unconscious mind work on it overnight. Your brain has access to connections and associations that your conscious mind might miss. Step 10. Share your dreams. Talk about your dreams with friends or join online communities of people interested in dreams. This serves multiple purposes. It reinforces to your brain that dreams matter, improving recall. It helps you process dream content more deeply, and you'll learn techniques and insights from others who are on the same journey. The bottom line is this: you're going to spend 6 years of your life dreaming, whether you pay attention to it or not. You can let that time pass as a series of forgotten, random experiences that vanish upon waking, or you can treat it as the valuable cognitive resource it actually is. Think about all the famous creators and scientists we discussed: Mary Shelley, Keith Richards, Paul McCartney, Dmitri Mendeleev, René Descartes. They didn't have special brains or magical abilities. They just learned to pay attention to their dreams and use them productively. Now you have the scientific knowledge and practical techniques to do exactly the same thing. Every single night, your brain is doing incredible work, processing memories, consolidating learning, regulating emotions, making unexpected connections, and exploring possibilities. For most people, all of that happens in the background and gets immediately forgotten. But it doesn't have to be that way. Starting tonight, you can begin building a relationship with your dreams. You can learn their language, understand their patterns, and eventually even influence their content and direction. Those 6 years of dreaming time can become 6 years of additional creativity, problem-solving, emotional healing, and personal growth. Conclusion: the dream revolution is just beginning. We've covered a lot of ground in this video. We started with the shocking fact that you'll spend 6 years of your life dreaming. More time than you spent in school, more time than many people spend in college or at a single job. We explored how every ancient culture independently recognized the importance of dreams and developed surprisingly similar techniques for working with them. Then we dove into the modern science that's validating what the ancients knew through intuition and experience. We learned that everyone around the world dreams about the same things, that real-world events directly influence dream content, and that there are actually 2 distinct types of dreams with different functions. We discovered that dreams are side effects of your brain's memory maintenance processes, your mind doing essential housekeeping while you sleep. We saw how dream incubation actually works and has led to some of humanity's greatest creative and scientific breakthroughs. We learned about the MIT team's Dormio device that can influence dreams using technology, and the international research team that successfully communicated with people inside their dreams in real time. We explored lucid dreaming as a learnable skill that lets you become conscious within the dream state. And we discussed how dreams, even unpleasant ones, serve the crucial function of emotional processing and psychological healing, keeping you mentally balanced and healthy. But here's what excites me most about all of this. We're still in the early stages of understanding dreams. Every year brings new discoveries, new techniques, and new technologies. The research we discussed about communicating with dreamers and influencing dream content is less than 5 years old. Who knows what we'll be able to do with dreams 10 or 20 years from now? Some researchers believe we might eventually be able to use dreams for accelerated learning. Imagine studying a language or practicing a skill during those 2 hours of nightly dream time. Others think we could use dream technology to treat PTSD, depression, anxiety, and phobias more effectively than current therapies. Some even speculate about shared dreaming experiences or dream-based communication technologies. What we know for certain right now is that dreams are not just meaningless noise or random neural firing. They're a fundamental part of how your brain processes information, regulates emotion, consolidates memory, and maintains psychological health. Those 6 years you'll spend dreaming are 6 years of your brain doing some of its most important work. The ancient peoples who built temples for dreaming, who developed rituals around dreams, who made major life decisions based on dreams, they weren't primitive or superstitious. They were recognizing something profound about human consciousness that modern science is only now catching up to understand and explain. You have the same brain they had. You have the same capacity to work with your dreams that enabled Mary Shelley to write Frankenstein, that let Mendeleev visualize the periodic table, that helped countless other creators and innovators throughout history. The only difference is awareness and practice. So tonight, when you go to bed, remember, you're not just going to sleep. You're entering another mode of consciousness where your brain does essential work. You're beginning one of those 5 to 20-minute dream sessions that will add up to 6 years over your lifetime. And now you have the knowledge and tools to make those years count for something. Set up your dream journal. Think about a problem you want to solve. Improve your sleep environment. Practice reality testing. Try dream incubation. Be patient with the process. And most importantly, start paying attention to those experiences that most people let slip away forgotten every single morning. Your dreams have always been there, waiting for you to notice them, to work with them, to learn from them. The ancient Egyptians knew this 4,000 years ago. Modern neuroscience is proving it today. And tonight you can start your own personal dream revolution. Those 6 years of your life spent dreaming, they're not wasted time. They're not just your brain's screensaver mode. They're an untapped resource, a hidden dimension of your consciousness, and a powerful tool for creativity, problem-solving, and personal growth. The only question is, are you going to use them? Thanks for watching. If this video changed how you think about dreams, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating science. Drop a comment below telling me about the craziest dream you've ever had. I read every single comment, and I'm genuinely curious what kind of wild experiences your brains are creating every night. And here's a fun experiment. After you comment about your dream, that memory will be fresh in your mind. Tonight, there's a decent chance you'll dream about something related to it, because you've been thinking about dreams and priming your brain all through this video. If that happens, come back and tell me about it. Let's see dream incubation in action together. Remember, you're about to spend tonight adding another 2 hours to those 6 years of dreaming. Make them count. Sweet dreams, everyone.